FPL is officially back for the new season. The new FPL game for the 26-27 Premier League season is live, which means the FPL content is back. And where better to start than having a look at my first draft? We're going to talk about a new features to the game. We're going to talk about a few prices, but most importantly, we're going to look at the squad that I've built. We've had some big price reveals before the game launched with Haaland, Bruno, and Gabriel all being very expensive. So which of them have I gone with? Hint and a surprise, it's not all three. So let's get into FPL for the new season. Welcome back to the channel. Let's have a look at my first draft. What is up, everyone? FPL Harry here. Before we dive in, 2,000 likes is the aim. Subscribe if you are new around here as well. And you can just see the smile on my face getting to say that intro again. It has been a while since we've uploaded on the channel, since the end of the season. There wasn't any World Cup content. I was too busy enjoying the tournament, and I hope you did as well. Slight disappointment for England towards the end of it, but welcome back to the channel. If you are new around here, please do subscribe. We do release videos pretty much every single day over the course of the next 9 or 10 months. We've got even more content planned this season than we produced last season. So if you are enjoying it already, you're excited for the new season, then like. If you are new to the channel, then please do subscribe. It is very good to be back. We've got lots in store. So let's talk about the new season of FPL. The first thing we need to do before we have a look at my new draft is talk about the changes that we've got to the game going into the 26-27 season. In general, FPL looks pretty similar. They haven't done anything groundbreaking like maybe they've done over the past couple of seasons. 2 years ago, we got the additional 5 transfers and we got the assistant manager chip, which was then taken away last year. And we got the double chips put in place and a few other changes like the African Cup of Nations transfers. So I think the past couple of years, we've had big shakeups every single year, whereas FPL feels a lot the same in terms of actually playing the game. The infrastructure might be slightly different. So just to run you through, if you haven't seen on socials, the changes that we've got. The first thing is you may have been using sites like Live FPL or others to see predicted prices and price changes every single night, but the FPL site is going to have that built into their website now. It's not going to be able to confirm 100% or not whether a player goes up or down in price, just because they can't predict the future. They can say that at current trends, yes, a player will rise or fall, but they don't know in the future before the deadline of price changes, which is now midnight UK time, has been brought forward about an hour and a half. But it's going to be a very good representation of who is likely to rise or fall, and it's going to be built in finally to the FPL website. The next thing is, you may remember last season that once the game week locked, there were no late changes to bonus. So if you had a player playing in the final game and they get DEFCON after the game closed, you couldn't get it. They've effectively moved the deadline for the closing of a game week to 9 AM the following morning after that final game. So that should allow all late changes to both DEFCON, bonus, and just make it a level playing field, which again is a really nice change. Another change which is really nice and has finally been implemented is that your rank and your mini leagues and your points will be updated in real time on the site. You won't have to wait, 10 minutes after a goal is scored to see it in the FPL app. You won't have to wait several hours after the final game to see your mini league update. All of this will happen live, which is great. Of course, there is no African Cup of Nations transfers, so we will know there's no African Cup of Nations, so we will get no African Cup of Nations transfers midway through the season like we did last year. It's just the usual 1 extra transfer every single week, built up to a maximum of 5 like it was last year. And again, as it was last year, you can carry those through the free hit or the wildcard if you're playing one of them. DEFCON remains exactly the same. It's the same for defenders and midfielders as it was last year. The only slight change to it, though, is a small tweak in terms of the bonus point system, that it won't be quite as easy for DEFCON defenders to get bonus points. If you remember last year, it was quite often that defenders or midfielders who got DEFCON also then got bonus on top. That won't happen quite as often, which might boost some of the fullbacks or other midfielders that we're looking to buy. And the final one, we've already mentioned it, is chips, double chips, the same 4 chips, the wildcard, the free hit, the bench boost, and the triple captain that we had last year. We will get, again, both one set in the first half of the season and another set in the second half, just like last year. So with that all covered, let's have a look at my first draft. It leaves me exactly 0.0 million in the bank, but I'm actually pretty happy with it. I do think that they priced some of the most expensive players in the game pretty well, the likes of Haaland and Bruno Fernandes, but I do think they've underpriced a few other players, which means affording a good team doesn't feel that difficult. There is one of those most expensive players, which I have decided not to go with, you might already see that. In goal, I've gone with David Raya, and I've gone with a 4 million option on the bench. Now, the opening fixtures for Arsenal are not particularly great. They play Coventry at home on the opening day, which is a really nice fixture to start with. But after that, it does get a bit more difficult. If they're going to be without Saliba, which it sounds like they will, and we're still waiting on a bit of an update on Declan Rice, he'll probably be fine knowing how many minutes Declan Rice usually plays. I am slightly concerned about the Arsenal defence, but I definitely want at least one of them. So I've gone with David Raya, and I've not gone with Gabriel. I think 8 million is too expensive, especially when there are much cheaper ways into that Arsenal defence. Of course, there's David Raya. You've got Timber, I think, is 6.5. Saliba, when he comes back, is 6 million. But the ones that are really interesting is you've got Mosquera, Calafiori, and Hincapié all coming in at 5.5 million. And I expect by the start of the season, we will know which of those are going to be nailed. Is Mosquera going to play in place of Saliba, or is it going to be Hincapié? Is it going to be Calafiori at left back? If one of those three looks nailed going into the start of the season, I expect them to be very, very highly owned. At the moment, I think it's either going to be Mosquera or Hincapié, as they're expected to play in place of Saliba, but they are linked with someone like Ezri Konsa, who is also very cheap in the game and could be game-breaking if he does make that move to Arsenal. So I've gone with a double up on the Arsenal defence just because we know how good they are, and they're not as expensive if you don't go for Gabriel as I thought they would be before the game launched. Elsewhere in my defence, I've gone with Harry Maguire. Played a lot of minutes at the end of last season. They improved their form defensively. He's only 5 million. I like his attacking threat and I like his DEFCON. Without Casemiro in the team, scoring lots of goals for Manchester United from set pieces, I expect Harry Maguire to have more of a focus there. And then another one who I expect to be in a lot of teams is Jair Cunha of Nottingham Forest. He's come in at 4.5 million. And of course, Nottingham Forest, now managed by Glasner, he is expected to be one of the three centre-backs. And if you know Crystal Palace from last year, you know their centre-backs absolutely mopped up DEFCON, and all of the other starting centre-backs in Murillo and Milenkovic are more expensive. 4.5 million for him. I expect him to start. He's been starting in pre-season. I really like. 3 good fixtures game week 1, plus you've got David Raya. And on the bench, I've got Thomas of Coventry, all the newly promoted defenders of 4 million. He got 7 attacking returns last year. The opening fixtures are not great, but he's 4 million, and he averaged 8 DEFCON per 90 last year when they finished top of the league. Imagine what he's capable of if they finish lower down the table. And I've also gone with Malik Chow. Opening day against Liverpool is not good, but from the weeks after, game week 2, 3 onwards, their fixtures look really nice. I like his attacking threat. I like his DEFCON. No Europe as well, and he feels pretty nailed. So I'm pretty happy with that defense at the moment. Let me know if you think there's someone obvious that I've missed. I will be doing a video where I discuss a lot of prices in more detail. So if there's players not in this draft or I'm not mentioning, I haven't looked through every single player's price. So let me know in the comments who you would like me to discuss, and I will do that in a video over the weekend. Then into my midfield. Bruno was the first one who came in. Of course, we got the price announcement before the game came out. I'm pretty happy with him because of the opening few fixtures, but I do look at the prices of the likes of Brian Mbeumo and Matheus Cunha and feel like if I want to free up some money, I could go there, particularly if I'm not certain who I'll captain in game week 1. But Bruno is in. And then I've gone for reliability of minutes particularly. I've gone with Rodgers. I think 7.5 million for him at Chelsea. I expect him to play in one of the number 10 positions behind João Pedro with Palmer. I think that's a great price. Palmer at 9.5 I also like, but it's quite expensive to fit in this team. I've gone with Dominic Szoboszlai. I wanted Vert. I don't have that 0.5 million spare to afford him. Szoboszlai might be on pens. He'll probably still be talismanic. He'll still probably be on a lot of set pieces as well, which I really like. And the final one, again, there's a lot of positions where if I had a bit of money, I'd go for Dewsbury Hall over James Garner. But Everton do start the season with a really nice run of fixtures. Now, they often start the season quite slowly, so I'll see how they get on in pre-season. But I like James Garner. Good DEFCON option. I don't have to worry about him. He'll be pretty reliable and tick along over the long term. He feels like this season's version of Elliot Anderson last year. I've just got a 4.5 million midfielder. I thought I would play 3-5-2, but when the game launched, there are some really nice prices for some of the forwards. So I've gone with a 3-4-3 at the moment. So up front, of course, Erling Haaland is in. I've gone with João Pedro again at 7.5 million. I think is a fantastic price. I thought he'd be 8.5 at a minimum. So I'm very happy with that. And apart from Arsenal in game week 3 or 4, the opening run of fixtures for Chelsea is pretty nice. Away at Fulham on the opening day, without their manager, without some of their key players. I like him and Rodgers. Is the double up essential? No. Is it maybe slightly too much? Maybe. but I think at their prices, they both offer really good options. And that left me perfectly 6 million for one of those great 6 million forwards. You've got Calvert-Lewin, you've got Igor Jesus of Nottingham Forest, and you've also got Osula, all really good picks that I could have gone with. At the moment, I've gone with Calvert-Lewin, but I'll keep an eye on them. I'm a big fan of Igor Jesus, and he's been playing very well in pre-season. So that is my first draft. I actually feel more happy with it. I picked a draft quite quickly that I felt pretty happy with. It's got some, strength on the bench. It's got double Arsenal defense. It's got Haaland and Bruno and a lot of good players in there. I'm sure it will change between now and game week 1, but I'm pretty happy with it for a first draft. Let me know what you think. Let me know the players that you'd like me to discuss that are maybe not in here or maybe you disagree with, and I'll discuss them in a video over the weekend. If you are already signed up to the game, make sure that you join my league code, which I'll leave on screen now. There'll be a link in the description for my league as well. Make sure you're in it. There will be a prize. I haven't officially decided what it's going to be. I'll announce that closer to game week 1, but that is my draft. Let me know what you think. Can't do too much without a World Cup hydration break, but this hydration break is being sponsored by Club. FPL is officially back, but so is Club Game. I played it with you throughout the duration of last season, and they have launched their game for the 26-27 season. If you've never played Club before, it basically combines FPL with Ultimate Team, if you've ever played that as well. Every few hours you get given a pack. You can add the player to your lineup if you like them. You can reject them if you don't want them in your team. Over the course of the season, you slowly build up a better squad. You can extend players. You can get rid of them depending on how many players you want in your squad and your budget. And every single weekend, you'll get matched against a random player, and you score points depending on how your players score in real life, just like in FPL. And if you win, you get in-game rewards. So there are leagues. I'll leave a link to my new league code up on screen now if you want to join it. If you've never played it before, I cannot recommend it enough. I played it last season. I played it the season before. I played it during the World Cup, which was so much fun. If you haven't played it, please download it. Use the link in the description, the QR code I'll put up on screen. Get on it. The sooner you're in before the season, the better chance you have of having a nice, good squad. But let's get back to talking FPL. And then I know it's very early, but I did want to just cover very quickly my first thoughts on chip strategy, because actually it doesn't feel quite as simple as it did last year. Because of the sort of lack of need to change between premiums, I don't see an obvious week to wildcard. So I actually plan on saving my wildcard until I feel like my team needs it. Last year, it was game week 6 or so that there was a big fixture swing and it felt like the right time to play it. It doesn't feel that obvious this year at the moment to me, so I plan on saving it. In terms of my free hit, there are a few obvious ones. Game week 4 is the earlier one. Manchester United play Manchester City, whilst Chelsea have Hull at home. Now, if I go with double Chelsea in my team like I've got, maybe it's not as essential, but it's one I'm looking at. Game week 12, Arsenal play Manchester City. So if you've got several players from those teams, you could free hit that week, or just keep it later down the line. You never know. There might be an early blank or a double. It's unlikely, but it is, of course, possible with weather or something like that. There are lots of options in terms of triple captain. The only ones I've pulled out really are when Haaland and Bruno play the teams that have been newly promoted to the league. Haaland actually has all 3 of them, Coventry, Ipswich and Hull, all at home in the first half of the season. So it feels very easy. There are lots of options there. And then the bench boost. Game week 1, Ipswich versus Sunderland. You could pile up on some of those. Coventry, Hull in game week 2 could allow you to build a pretty good bench in game week 2. Game week 6, all 3 newly promoted teams have an okay home fixture that week, but I probably just plan on delaying it until after I play my wildcard, but there are a few early options that I will consider. So the game has only been live for a few hours. I will, of course, spend more time on the site, just like you will, building drafts, looking at chip strategy, doing everything in a bit more detail. And we've got so much content over preseason that I hope you're really going to enjoy. Of course, I've updated the graphics. I've updated the visuals on the channel. I've also got a slightly new mic, more because my old one broke apparently over the holidays, where I had no idea until I plugged it in 2 days ago to record something else and it didn't work. So if it sounds any different, better or worse, let me know. Hopefully it just sounds exactly the same. I'm absolutely fine with that. If you haven't joined my league, then let me know. The league code I'll flash up on screen, link in the description. Enjoy your tinkering. It is good to be back. The first video of the new season. Please show your support to the channel being back another year. Drop a like if you've enjoyed this, subscribe if you are new, and I'll be back again very soon.